Sarah Jennings, welcome. You are joining us at the Yin Center Conference, April 1st through 3rd. Your session is such an important one. It is Find Your Voice and Be Seen, Visibility for Highly Sensitive Entrepreneurs and Healers. And I just want to say right off the bat that I'm somebody who loves to be seen. I'm not uncomfortable with that. And I have so many friends who are, and they're incredibly skilled. They're incredibly gifted. They have something really important that needs to be in the world. And there is this painful, I want to say, schism or fracture between what they have to give and their willingness, the pain that they feel, the genuine pain that they feel around stepping into visibility. So thank you for offering this work. Tell us more. So the other thing that I notice is that this pain that comes up, or this block, there may be very personal, individual reasons, history, trauma around that, but there's also a big theme among women and among healers and highly sensitive people, and women in particular. And I know that that's what you address. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so pleased that you asked me to join. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We could probably talk for hours if we weren't let loose. And I know we only have a short space of time just to kind of introduce the ideas, and we'll go much deeper in April.
Exactly.
Because it is, I've often talked about it as the complexity. There's a complexity of energetics that happen, and often it manifests as someone going to, okay, I'm going to share my healing work or my practice, or I'm going to share my music workshop, so I have to stand up in front of a room of people, or even just doing something like this. And then the body reacts. The body doesn't lie, and the body is like, no, like a clamp, or like the head goes, oh, the fog, or I can't think straight, or like I just want to flop to the floor. And I had the same experience. I was already successful in my like I teach a healing modality, and it's a healing modality called aura transformation, and then I became an instructor. And then I'm also a kinesiologist, and I was already, I had a busy full-time practice, busy in and out, people in and out, traveling the world doing this.
Wow.
And most of it was off the back of writing about it, organic reach, that kind of visibility. And then it came to the point where I was like, and I did lots of public talks too, and that has its initiation, where you have to learn to stand up in a room, and it's a bit rubbish the first few times, and you get better at it, and then you have your spiel, and I did it hundreds of times all up and down the country and other countries, and I was like, I can't keep saying the same thing again, and I have to do video. And I was so shocked at the response that my body presented again and again for about 2 years. I was like, I need to do this thing. So I know there's loads of practitioners are like, I know I need to take this next step in visibility somehow, whatever it might be, even to your family and friends, or talking about what it is your heart's desire, or that most healers don't choose to become a healer. They go through a huge healing process, and then they are equipped in a way to lead people through the dark, or be a lighthouse be a lighthouse to people. And so it's not often the easy path, and you have to overcome all these blocks. And I had to overcome, like halfway through my decade career, like going on camera, and my body just refused. I rebelled. I had to join a couple of challenges, and even then, just the first video I made for a friend, I did it and sent it to her, and she was like, that was great. And I was like, oh God, I mean, I literally you feel this kind of collapse, internal collapse, or debilitating throat closing, headaches, all that kind of thing.
Nausea. Nausea. People just want to throw up.
Or like the void. There's a void opening up, and you're going to fall in it. Or there's a fear of being persecuted, attacked, criticized, ridiculed, vilified, which is when I started doing this visibility work. we were coming into a place in the world where it was actually okay to talk about your healing work and to be an alternative voice in the field. And then it's been very interesting running all these courses I've been doing called Visibility Gateway, where throughout the pandemic and so on, and then it's become, again, more dangerous, not physically so, but dangerous on some level, because suddenly you can get cancelled, or people feel very comfortable to attack you online through the keyboard. So it's been very interesting to watch, like our physical reactions, shifting with the times. But what's happening as well, like you mentioned, is there's a very complex layers of trauma or historical experience that still lives in our cells. The science of epigenetics, it explains that trauma can skip generations. And I know from all the kinesiology work I do, which kinesiology basically means that we can ask yes and no from the body, and then start exploring, like Sherlock Holmes, through the system, like, is it this, is it that, is it in this? And we have diagnostics, so we can check what part of the system, when did it start, an age, we can find an age, a time, period of history. We can really find where these symptoms or reactions are coming from. So it's absolutely fascinating, and working with many practitioners through this process has meant I've been able to develop work around helping practitioners become confident and comfortable being visible with their work in the healing arts, because there's so many different body workers, energy workers. There's like a big, lots of different kinds. But we're looking at the fear of persecution. The witch wound is a big one that most healers will be aware of. I think, you stand up to speak, you're scared you're going to get pitchforked or burnt, or the mob energy. And that's becoming, again, I think, more prevalent again, this mob kind of mentality, energy towards we don't agree with you, this the division, divide and conquer energy. And that still lives in us. So it's not just today's trauma, it's like some old ancient stuff. And then when you're in the healing arts, we go even deeper into the multi-dimensional existence of who we are. We're looking at times in our history where maybe we were using our consciousness and our magic or our energy more to heal, to move energy, and it was like more visible, more higher frequency, more like just how we were operating more. I mean, I'm talking about a long time ago, and open to debate, but I think there's been times in our human history where there's been cataclysmic endings, like end of civilization or cataclysmic ruptures or something happening. And then we've taken the responsibility or the karma of it, like we feel like, oh, that's something, I was responsible, that I will never teach again, I will never speak again, I will never again. So then suddenly your body is trying to protect you from doing something again. And that's kind of how trauma and survival works, is that your body's going, right, okay, we're not doing that thing again, whatever it was in this life or last life, and it's the same. If we want to use a more everyday kind of example, is maybe you were bullied at school, or you were ridiculed once when you stood up in the classroom. Your body's going to try and stop you from doing that again because it didn't feel good.
Right.
So what we're doing when we're looking at visibility is trying to find, working with all the layers of that, and then coming to so my whole theory really is that we want to come into alignment with our missions, our purposes, what lights us up, what we really know we're here for. And then we want to kind of clear the pathway from, the voice, the body allowing you to speak what you're in alignment with. So clearing the blockages, working with those kind of traumas and stuff that's keeping us from speaking. And then going through the layers of the energy field and the subtle bodies as well, because that's where we're more powerful than we've been taught. And if you have a part of you, this is something I really wanted to share actually. Imagine I call them a magical human. You've got this gift or this sight or this hypersensitivity, and our world and our hospitals and our parents and their parents and school don't welcome that energy in the way that we would have probably liked. We probably would have liked to arrive and be like, I've arrived. And instead,
everybody's so happy that you're here with these gifts because we need them.
Yeah, and it's not quite like that, and our parents are stressed, or we get shoved upside down, slapped on the bum, moved into another room
Right.
away from mum, and there's just a
Mm,
lot that happens to us at a young age where we're not socialized for our gifts to be appreciated.
mm,
Any child really. It's,
mm.
we kind of all sit down, be quiet, sit upright, that's good, that's bad. So yeah, I mean, I sound terribly romantic, but I think there's beautiful stories of tribes that sing that child, the baby's spirit in before it's even born, and they have
Yeah.
that child will have a song, and when they do something that's against the harmony of the group, they'll sing the song to them to bring them back to who they really
Mm,
are and to the coherence. And there's something I think about that when you're wanting to share your gifts, it wasn't maybe always appreciated, or you weren't welcomed or heard or seen, and there's a lot of pain that the healer people, I call them healers, some people find that different, they're facilitating others to heal themselves, but there's a lot of struggle in that, finding your voice, uh,
mm.
certainly if you haven't been heard or seen before,
Yes.
um, not in that way, the depth of who you really are and the fullness of who you are. So it's a trip. It's like you're learning, you're stepping into what does it feel like to be seen, and then like, do I belong? So it's really all the core wounding kind of having to show up. So we want to work. And yeah, so if you're a magical being and you arrive and you're not kind of welcomed in your fullness, that part, and also that part of you maybe has decided that it will never show its magic again, it kind of cloaks. So you kind of got this cloak and
Mm,
smoke and mirrors that's like,
mm,
don't show your magic, don't show your strength, don't show your power,
mm,
don't speak your voice because you could get killed, or it's not safe, or we weren't going to do that again, blah blah blah. So your energy field, your whole system is like 3 steps ahead of you all the time. So you go to speak, and then there's all this smoke and mirrors everywhere. No one heard what you said in the first place. People scroll past, don't
right.
hear. It's like, I'm working so hard and nothing's happening, and it's like, well, your system might be hindering the visibility and the connection. And we're going to do that during the conference. We're going to do a bit of energy work around what I call magical marketing, which is nothing to do with your flyers, or it's more about the magic you can sprinkle into your intentions and alignment with who you're trying to have an impact with. It's not
Mm,
spells. We're not putting spells on people.
mhm,
We're just
mhm.
making sure that your lighthouse is being seen, your energy is being seen for what what you want it to be, what you want to share. Um, yeah, and then
So
how,
good.
and it's essential to know how to shift through these fears that are maybe outdated,
Mm,
survival and contracts. So all that, we'll look a little bit at that as well, how to
mm.
move that.
Oh,
So exciting.
yay. Well, I would love to know, as we come to the end of our short time today, and of course, it's like opening these gates on this very deep, huge, fascinating, rich experience that, I mean, I can relate to, even though I love being visible. I've also had times where I'm like, why am I not being heard? What is going on? These weird disconnects. So um, I would love to know what you would love for people to experience from your session as a result of being in your session at the conference.
Well, I mean, all of my work comes back to what I call pour the love in, is if we can find where there's not been love, or where
Mm,
you're looking for love, and you can learn to pour the love in yourself,
mm,
then you start really becoming this strong pillar of like a core sense of self. So if you've not been heard or seen much in your life, you have a wobbly core. You don't really know what you like because you weren't even allowed to know what you like. So
mhm,
it's almost like speaking up would be like the opposite of what you've been trained to. So it's like coming into a solid sense of self, and that isn't. It's not like a woohoo, we'll just do that. It's a everyday kind of plodding along to a point where you're solidifying that core sense of self, which also then protects or encapsulates or allows you to radiate your
mm,
unique frequency in the world, your blueprint of energy, and for it to land. So the stronger and safer you are in yourself, the more you're able to actually deliver your energy and people feel it. So it's like how I'd like people to experience that kind of a sense of alignment, or at least that I'm okay and I belong and I'm allowed
Mm,
to do this. And, you know, and another really beautiful thing is that a lot of us that are in this field, we're having very deep remembering. It's not like, you know, we're kind of the awakening process is more of like a remembering process more than anything, I think.
mm,
And then there's a lot of our history that we don't, you know, it's been erased somehow or just lost in time, and we're remembering bits of that. And so I often see people that are remembering as heirloom seeds,
mm,
heirloom
mhm,
seeds. You know, they are, we have to protect our own sense of knowing and remembering so that we can share it with the depth of what we share, because the media never covers the depth of where a lot of people go with their, you know, I like calling it tinkering away. You know, if you find something you love doing, just tinker away and tinker away. It doesn't matter really what happens with it. It doesn't matter if you're a biologist or like a physicist or a stamp collector, you know, just keep doing that because you're building something that other people will understand one day from
mm,
your communication. So yeah, our modern media doesn't allow the depth so much
mhm.
to be translated, and that's what we lose in our education systems, I think. So I, you know, up for all the tinkerers that keep the heirloom information alive somehow, protect it, and you know, don't not to lose hope really in that, and you know, face your fears and get on with it.
That's
We need people, you know,
we need it.
we need people that have done this work for decades. This
Mm.
is our time really to stand strong and shine that light. And if you're staying small and keeping quiet, it's hurting you as much as others that aren't benefiting from your skills that you've developed.
Yes, thank you. That just feels like a call to action that
Yay.
is just so uh, so needed in this time. So thank you. And I love the image of the heirloom seeds. That feels so good. So your session on the weekend of April 1st through 3rd is Find Your Voice and Be Seen, visibility for highly sensitive entrepreneurs and healers. And Sarah Jennings, thank you so much. I'm thrilled to have you as part of this.
Thank you. I really appreciate you inviting me, and I'm really looking forward to it. So thank
Great.
you for giving me the opportunity to just talk. I do love it.
Yay. Thank
Yeah.
you.